are my tips for making your browsing experience faster and more secure just by changing and updating a few settings. Maybe you have noticed that your browser experience just seems slow and ads are following you everywhere, or your Google search results are no longer relevant to your needs. Maybe you once Googled the actor who plays Jamie Fraser in Outlander, and now you keep on seeing Instagram reels of him every single time you open Instagram. I don't mind seeing men in kilts, but I need a bit more variety in my life. So today we are focusing on one of the tools that you can use on your phone and PC every single day, and that is your browser. Now, if you haven't done so, or maybe you don't want to take the leap into uninstalling Google Chrome and choosing one of those privacy-first browsers instead that I have talked about in a previous episode, then you can make some changes to Chrome itself to make it a little bit less intrusive. We will be spending a lot of time on this page in your Google settings. You will see a few different options at the top, including history and controls. So go ahead and click on controls. Now, Google explains that your web and app activity is saved, including data like your location for things like faster searches, maps personalization, and personalized ads. You can really get into the weeds here on this page in terms of customization, but for most people, you will probably just want to turn this off completely. If you find that you commonly need to use personalized search results to find your interests, you may want to leave this setting on, but then turn on auto delete. So auto delete automatically deletes your web and app activity after a set period of time, and that can be 3 months, 18 months, or 36 months. That means that you will still have recent relevant searches and personalized queries saved in your history, but after those searches hit 3, 18, or 36 months, they then get deleted. That can limit the amount of data that Google stores about you, but it still offers some conveniences if you need them. Now, under history, scroll down and you will see all of your searches made across all of your devices that are signed into your Google account, not just this device in particular. And this can include websites that you visited as well. Yeah, it's kind of creepy. If there is something in particular that you want to delete, you can click on the little X icon next to that item and immediately remove it. Or your other option, you can click the delete button, which is found right up above all of those searches, to customize how many items to remove over a set amount of time, or you can delete everything all at once. Now, anytime you speak to your assistant on any of your Google devices, your questions are recorded as well. Now, luckily, you can find all of those search queries under your activity at this link, and the same rule applies. You can click the X or you can delete to customize the deletions itself. Now, as we go through this whole process, you may be asking yourself if there are other places where your data might be stored, and I have got to tell you about my sponsor for this episode. It's Delete Me. I signed up as a customer for Delete Me many years ago now, and I never let my membership lapse because I have seen how it benefits my life every single day. There are tons of websites that let the public search for your home address, your telephone number, your full name, and more, and your data is likely on those sites without your consent. All these data broker sites do offer opt-outs, but the process is convoluted, and sometimes it requires you to go through multiple steps just to wipe your information off of them, but then they just put your data right back on their sites after a few months. So since this process takes hours of time because there are hundreds of these sites now, Delete Me offers a service where you can tell them what data you want to scrub, and they send all the opt-outs for you. And they do it continuously, sending you reports every single quarter so you can audit their findings yourself to make sure your data is truly being removed from these data brokers. Now, this is a service that I will use for the foreseeable future, sponsor or not, because even if I was not a content creator, this is one of the many steps I take to protect myself from things like identity theft or phishing. I am so happy to partner with Delete Me. I really love their service, and I think you will too, especially because I have a discount code just for my viewers. Go to joindeleteme.com/morsecode and use the coupon code SNUBS, that's SNUBS, for 20% off of their plans, and see how Delete Me can help protect you and your data today. And yes, Those are actual quotes from me on that landing page. I think the landing page is so cute. I love it. Thank you so much to Delete Me for sponsoring my channel. Let's go ahead and hop back over to your browser settings. Now, your browser is still full of data and not just the Google account data. If you open Chrome, click on the three dots in the top right corner and go to Settings. Then click Privacy and Security, then Clear Browsing Data. Now, this is a section where you can find cookies, site data, which you should be deleting from time to time because cookies can keep you logged into sites, and the little files that they create take up quite a bit of space over time, and they add up quickly, and they can also be a security concern. So clearing this data means that yes, you will probably have to re-log into your sites, so have your YubiKey or your 2FA app ready to re-authenticate because you probably will have to put back in that YubiKey or those 6-digit codes, but it also means that you will have a cleaner browser to work with, and you may see faster services from your browser as well. Cached images and files from sites you have visited saves time, but it also takes up some space. For example, on my phone, these files took up about a little less than half a gig, and when it comes to a phone, which only comes with like 128 gigs or 256 gigs or whatever it might be, half a gig takes up a lot of space. The advanced section is really interesting because it gives you an actual count of how much information is saved about you, so tell me down below. I'm very curious about if anybody else's number is higher than mine. If you are using Chrome, what's the biggest number on this page? Is it your browsing history? Mine was at like 13,000 before I deleted it because I didn't have auto delete turned on. Oops. Now, I find this kind of spring cleaning to be so fun and I feel so productive after I finish it. So if you want to continue, you should take a look at your Maps timeline and your YouTube history. So both of these pages have options to delete your data for set time intervals, very similar to what we've already done. So in the case of YouTube, you do have to enable auto delete on this page separately from the search settings. And location history, which you can find at this link, shows you a map of all of the places that you have visited, and you can go through this entire timeline and delete specific places, or you can delete full days of data. Now, it's a little bit hidden, but there is a gear icon that you can click on to turn on auto delete functions for your map as well. If you want to turn off personalized ads, you can also go to this page to disable that. Or if you prefer seeing ads for things that are targeted towards you, but maybe you are seeing something that you don't necessarily want to see, you can find that specific targeted ad or brand on this page and you can dislike it. Over time, you will notice that you will see less and less of those ads targeted towards you. There's even this whole section where you can visit that shows you which categories Google is using to personalize ads to you. So this could be things like your relationship status, or your income, or your employer, your age, if you have kids. And you can click into each of these items and disable them separately, or you can change that value if you do want to keep it on, but for some reason it's incorrect. Now, this can be incredibly useful if you've had, for example, a personal loss, say somebody in your family passed away, and you're being hit with ads for something that reminds you of that loss and reminds you of that person every day. If you had some kind of traumatic event and you want to remove those triggers from you being able to see them in your browser when you're just running around social media, you may just want to remove personalized ads entirely so that you're not seeing those kind of targeted messages. Now, to keep y'all in the loop, Google is planning to deprecate third-party cookies in 2024 via this rollout to users. This is a part of their privacy sandbox feature, which, quote, replaces third-party cookies with a more privacy-conscious approach, allowing users to manage their interests and group them into cohorts based on similar browsing patterns. So we may see a lot of privacy changes in the coming year in terms of settings, and if so, I will post an updated video. Now, I fully understand that some folks may want to completely throw away their phone at this point. You may have heard this messaging and say, why use Google Chrome at all? So I will recommend taking a look at privacy-centric distros like Graphene OS and checking out some of the privacy-first browsers that I've included in my previous video as mentioned before. I've also linked that down below. But if you are trying to keep Android on your phone, maybe you find the conveniences necessary, or maybe maybe it's something that really fits your lifestyle. That's definitely me as well. You can still mitigate some of these risks, especially if your threat level does not necessarily require a full operating system wipe. Then these are some of those steps that you can take just in your browser to better privatize your data while you are online. Stay safe. Bye, y'all.